Costin here with a discussion about Hotfix 6.3.4 for Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires, which, according to Creative Assembly, should improve the AI's priorities with regards to recruitment, disbanding troops, replacing them with higher quality troops, to avoid the kind of situations which we've seen in this game before, where the AI may have a lot of armies, may have a lot of troops, but they never replace low quality troops with higher quality ones. And because each individual army is low quality, the AI will not risk it a lot of the times. This is a problem specifically for the vampire counts. Now, Creative Assembly does have a long blog post, but that is one of the key aspects of it. The second key aspect is that it is going to take a while to actually see these effects in a campaign. So with Chaos Dwarfs, they mentioned that we would really start seeing changes in terms of the recruitment priorities after like turn 20. Though I have absolutely seen changes in terms of the recruitment priority even before that. I do think there is a bit of a problem with regards to AI behavior if they're recruiting only lower tier units for a very long time. Because if we look at Scrag over here, and I've used console commands after turn 19 to ally a bunch of actions. But if we look at Scrag, he has a bunch of lower end units. He's also not built any other camp, so I'm finding it difficult to believe that he doesn't have the resources for that. But very, very importantly here, he has recruited a giant, he has recruited some gorgers, and that's really the only quality troops he's recruited. Everything else is Noblars and Ogre Bulls. Now, you might think, oh, he doesn't have money. He does have money. A lot of money, in fact. So, I've used console commands to give myself Barak Var, because it's valuable, and he has 28,000 cash. With 28,000 cash, he should be recruiting Iron Guts, Lead Belchers, all that kind of stuff. And even if he doesn't have the ability of recruiting those units, because it does depend on the camp situation, he certainly should have the ability of just spamming a lot of Ogre Bulls with dual weapons, pigback riders, etc. So the fact he's not doing that is a bit of an issue. Now for the dwarves, if we look at Forgrim over here, he's certainly been recruiting a lot of stuff. So he's got Iron Drakes, he's got Hammers, he's got Regiments Renown, he's got some real powerful stuff here. Sure, his basic army is Dwarf Warriors with great weapons, and specifically the change that Creative Assembly made with regards to the AI disbanding units to replace them with better units, they'll do so if the AI is not actively fighting in a war, and also they'll do so if the army they have is not strong enough. Now, given the way dwarves are in terms of their strength in auto-resolve, though I know the auto-resolve the AI thinks it has versus the actual auto-resolve is different, because that's how you get a bunch of silly things, but you certainly do see that dynamic that Forgrim's not replacing stuff because he thinks he has good enough. Queek does have a bunch of clan rats, and he does have a bunch of units that he could be recruiting instead. Poison Wind, Plague Claws, and he hasn't. Like, yeah, he has a couple of Storm Vermin, he has some Poison Wind Globadiers, but not really all that much. Now, with regards to Chaos Dwarves, you still see a bunch of Orc Laborers in the case of Drazov. He does have the ability of recruiting a bunch of units, sure, but you still see a bunch of laborers, though, again, CA didn't note it was going to take turns to actually see the higher quality. I would say that Chaos Dwarf AI should prioritize getting at least Hobgoblins as quickly as possible, but you also do see a bunch of quality troops all around the place. So you see Hobgoblin Bolt Throwers, you see Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, you see some Chaos Dwarf Warriors, turn 20. So the AI is certainly recruiting higher quality units than just Orc labor. So if we look at Zaytan, he could be Laborer Central in his campaign, but now he has more than just laborers. He does have, some Chaos Dwarves, some Hobgoblins, quite a few Hobgoblins, some artillery. So he is recruiting a bunch of different things. Then if we look at Astrogoth, again, more Hobgoblin, Bolt Throwers, more Hobgoblins. Astrogoth typically is the one that does recruit the most hobgoblins out of them, so that's not unusual. But even he has a couple of Chaos Dwarf warriors, blunderbusses, etc. So there's certainly an increase in quality, but there's also this kind of weird dynamic where you feel the AI should be doing better than it is in terms of unit recruitment. Because again, if I take this region give region command, and then I go to Astrogoth and ask for it, I mean, he has certainly spent his money, right? In that case, I am kind of curious a bit with respect to Drazov. If he has a bunch of money, he probably doesn't. Castors don't necessarily have the most amount of money, but yeah, he has like 4,000. Okay, so at least they're using the money they have. With Gorst, we're actually seeing zombies from Gorst. Yes, we were still seeing a bunch of skeletal warriors, which we shouldn't with Gorst. Gorst should never recruit skeletal warriors compared to recruiting zombies. But he does have a lot of things here. He doesn't just have skeletal warriors. It used to be that for quite a few turns, Gorst would just recruit skeletal warriors. Now he's got Fellbats and Direwolves and Crypt Horrors. I'm not sure I would want to face that army. And he's got Black Knights, more Crypt Horrors. So the endless armies of zombies and skeletal warriors for the vampire counts have been reduced. If we look at Vlad, certainly Vlad is at war with different factions, but he does have Karen Wraiths. He does have Morghuls. I'm not sure I remember the last time I actually saw Morghuls from the vampire counts, to be quite honest with you. Sylvanian Crossbowmen. Gee, the wonders never cease. A Black Coach, Graveguard. So yes, the unit variety is absolutely there. So less spam, more quality that we can see. It's also kind of interesting looking at other factions as well. Like, you look at Carl. He's got an entire army of war wagons and pistoliers over here and a steam tank. Like, Carl is a lot more dangerous right here. Now, sure, his baseline army is swordsmen, so he hasn't replaced this army, but he does have a bunch of different armies as well. Now, as for Maneater, yeah, same kind of situation, same kind of dynamic, just a bunch of, like, Ogre Bulls, dual weapons. So he has been more active, so he conquered Norland, he marched on Midland, so that has happened. Let me see what Kemmler has, because Kemmler is, generally speaking, very, very active as a Legendary Lords. So yeah, he's kind of gotten his ass whooped by Bretonnia. No surprise there. No surprise there. So yeah, I guess Kemmler lost everything. Mostly everything. So a substantial level of force. So yeah, Lewin just beat the crap out of him. Not really a surprise right there in any way, shape, or form. Or maybe one of his armies is just not somewhere I can see. Skrulk, yeah. Quality, quantity, all that kind of stuff. Lizardman at least working well enough, right? Though one of the things I am curious about is with regards to Dark Elf. So let's see if we ally Malekith right here. What are we gonna see from him? So we see Dark Shards, we see Shades. Oh yes, the endless hordes of Shades. Though maybe Malekith is the bad example over here because he's clearly been at war. But yeah, that is a lot of Dark Shards. That is an enormous amount of Dark Shards that we are seeing right there. Let's see the High Elves. What they have over there with the Alliance Command. If we look at Lefanar. So yeah, Lefanar does have what you might expect. Oh, I'm not sure if that's his only army. Let's try Alfarian, because he might be a better bet, because he should be safe for a while. Should have been safe for a while. So yeah, he has a bunch of cavalry. So not all factions are equal in this respect. Of course, you know, Warriors of Chaos are also a big question mark with regards to that, because, you know, the problems that they do have in terms of recruitment. Yeah, he's got some Marauders, though he also has Cast Warriors with Halberds. Interesting. So either he got that randomly, which may or may not be the case. I mean, obviously some of this is starting stuff. Hard to say, though. Certainly good amount of variety over here, but yeah, not a lot of Cast Warriors. Though I'm only seeing a couple of low-level Marauders, so worth pointing out with regards to AI recruitment priorities. Don't ask me about Orion over here, because I don't know what to tell you. Right there. It's like, what has Orion done? But yeah, much of it is what you see, but the AI does seem to be more willing at least to replace some of its units. It's going to affect some races better than others. Of course, the pacing of a campaign is still a problem. NCA has admitted that they're going to keep working on this. For now, they're going to be focusing on 7.0. So this is probably the last hotfix we get before 7.0. Then they're going to do a bunch of improvements, fix various things that might appear in 7.0, because they will happen. And after the new year, they'll keep working on various things. And that's a reasonable timeline from my perspective, though it depends on how they release Tides of Torment and what they're going to announce right then. Cosine, signing out.